Either take your seat or retire from the floor. First of all, let me wish you a Happy New Year. We have three items on our agenda today, and two of these will be included on our consent agenda, and one we'll have to deal with independently because it was disapproved by the Planning Commission. So as always, the consent agenda, and I guess I need to clarify this because of some apparent misunderstanding at our last meeting over a vote that we took. The consent agenda items are items that have been approved by the Planning Commission or have been administratively approved by the planning staff. And when we consider those items as a group, we are in essence endorsing the approval of the Planning Commission, or we're endorsing the approval of the planning staff as we approve those items. And we do have the option of pulling those items off and talking about them individually if you so desire to do that, and voting on them separately. But if somebody doesn't have a specific reason or a specific question about one of those, then we consider that consent agenda and we approve it. And in doing so, we are in essence approving the vote that the Planning Commission took to approve, and we're approving the decision of the planning staff if something was administratively approved. So the two items that we have for the consent agenda today are BL 2012-308, sponsor is Moore, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the zoning ordinance by changing from R8 to RS5 zoning for property located at 906 Ackland Avenue, 0.25 acres. That was approved by the Planning Commission 9-0 on September 27. BL 2012-310, sponsor is McGuire, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the zoning ordinance by changing from R10 to RS10 to SP zoning for properties located at 1719 and 1725 Glen Echo Road and at Glen Echo Road unnumbered, 4.3 acres, to permit up to a 15 single-family lots. And that was approved with conditions 7-0 by the Commission on October the 11th. So those are the two items that we have for consent. Are there anybody desire to talk about either of those? All right, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the consent agenda is approved. BL 2012-309, sponsor is Jernigan, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the zoning ordinance by changing from MUL to SP zoning for property located at 100 Iris Avenue, 0.24 acres, to permit all uses in the MUL zoning district and new and used tire sales. This was disapproved by the Planning Commission 7-0 on November the 8th. So I'd like to, before we have a discussion, ask planning if you will review for us basically the reason the Planning Commission voted for the disapproval.
Okay, the Planning Commission voted for disapproval of this one because as written, the SP ordinance allows for the outdoor display of tires, and the Planning Commission staff recommended approval with a condition that there be no outdoor display of tires, and disapproval without those conditions. And it's my understanding that the Planning Commission, when they considered this, they heard from surrounding neighbors, and they considered how this existing use came into existence, and it appears that they were operating without a permit, and they were in violation of the zoning code. And when they did that, they didn't have the right to be operating as they were. And so basically the main condition that the Planning Commission staff recommended that would impact them was that they would have no outdoor display of tires. And so I guess without that condition, it was a disapproval, and the Planning Commission disapproved it based on several of the factors that I mentioned.
Okay, thank you. I do have a letter from the sponsor requesting approval of the legislation. So do I have discussion about the bill? Anybody have questions? All right. If there are no questions, then do I have a motion to either approve or disapprove?
I'll move approval.
All right. Motion has been made to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Motion made to approve, seconded. Now, discussion before we vote. Councilman Pridemore.
So is it the neighbors didn't want the tires to be displayed and they were there voicing their disapproval, or were they there?
I mean, it's my understanding that the neighbors, some neighbors objected, and the Lakewood Chamber of Commerce objected to the use as proposed, and I mean, Councilman Claiborne may be able to speak to the exact reasons. I wasn't actually at the meeting, so he may be able to speak to that better than I can.
The planning staff recommended approval of this with conditions, and as he stated, those conditions were they wanted to have displays of tires all across the front of the property. And one of the conditions was that they could display, I think it was no more than 8 tires, which would be 2 stacks. The also condition was that there would be no storage of tires, because this is like I say, it's a 2.4 acre parcel, so it's a very small corner lot, and the Planning Commission or the planning staff recommended that there not be any building on that lot in addition to the building that they actually do business in. There's really not room enough to do that, but there be no on-site storage of tires. And in the discussion as we moved through this, it became apparent that the owner actually didn't pull a permit to start the business. He actually bought this from somebody previous that had been doing business there, and whether he was told wrong or didn't take the effort to make sure, but he didn't pull a permit, and so he was actually operating illegally to begin with, and it was the decision of the commission that since he said he couldn't operate without additional storage, he couldn't meet the condition, and since he was operating illegally to begin with, since he had been there, then all the commissioners voted to disapprove.
How long has the business been there?
I think he started back in the summer.
It's less than a year.
Yes, less than a year.
I don't know the exact
I want to think
date.
that he started sometime back in the mid to late summer.
So, prior to him owning the business, was it the same business there, or was it? You said he bought it from someone else. Was it a tire business then at that point?
No, it's my understanding that it was not a tire business before that. But I can check on that and get back to you by tomorrow. I just don't know for sure.
Well, I
don't think it was a tire business there, but I'm not positive. I don't remember from the discussion at the Planning Commission what was there previously. It was just that there was a little building there. I think it was maybe a car lot, perhaps. Oh, okay. And this was a small building that they did their business out of and selling cars.
Okay.
Okay. Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that's a very valid question that you're bringing, and I think that is relevant to how we decide to vote here. If, in fact, it was already an existing business doing business as he is conducting it at the same location today, I would ask Mr. Cooper, I'm going to ask you a quick question. If in fact it is if an existing business sells, and I'm going to talk about specific adult entertainment stores that we've tried to say you can't do these types of displays. I've been told they were grandfathered in. If in fact this business was already existing, is there any grandfathering that could occur here?
Okay.
If the business was a legal non-conforming use, meaning that it did not meet the requirements of the zoning code, but was in place before those requirements changed. So if the prior business was doing this activity and was a legal non-conforming use, that status would transfer to the new owner. So it makes me think that the previous business was something different, okay, or there wouldn't be a need for the zone change.
Right, I think that's correct, and the only reason I hesitated was because when this used to be in the city of Lakewood, and a lot of the records that we got from Lakewood were very incomplete, and it was hard to tell exactly what was permitted and what wasn't at times. But it's my understanding that they were in for the rezoning because the previous use, was not a tire sales, and the zoning that's in place right now does not permit that, is my understanding of it. But I'll double check, and I can send an email to the committee by tomorrow.
Okay. Mr. Chair, is this going to make a difference? I mean, we decide today, I guess the question I'm asking is, if we defer this for one meeting, we come back next Tuesday and we'll have concrete information, and I think we can make an informed decision at that point.
Sure. If that's your...
Then I would move then that we defer one meeting in order to get these questions answered.
Second.
Okay. And perhaps we can ask the sponsor to make an effort to attend also.
Yep.
All right, so we have a motion to defer one meeting, and it's been seconded properly. So those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to defer one meeting passes. And that completes our agenda. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
We are adjourned. Thank you.